Welcome back to God Speaks. This video is entitled, What is God? And the Name of God. God is a force and a concept which can be used to leverage control over all reality, and personal experience in life. So what is it? God is the concept and the understanding that nothing can exist without consciousness and energy coming into play. With that understanding, we can understand what is and has been said about God and energy and how they correlate. As in the movie The Secret states that it is, was, and always will be, that it cannot be destroyed but can change its form. And I forget the other one that they said. But the point is, when you understand that is consciousness and energy have to be a part of every and all manifestation, then you understand that when there was nothing perceptible as any manifestation, a consciousness and an energy was present to bring about all things. This is the supreme creator, the prime source, the prime creator, the prime source of all life. So the concept goes that this creator is all and in all, that everything exists within and as parts of the creator, and that this energy of the creator is also present in all things. So God is this concept of an all-pervading aspect or understanding of the total concept of a prime creative being. How is this practical to us to have this understanding? It is through this understanding, through this belief, that one begins to equate oneself with a greater and greater truth about oneself. First, it is through the belief and an understanding in God that we gain a leverage over reality and our experiences, because when we begin to have a relationship with this consciousness, this all-pervading consciousness and this energy, and we believe in it, and we believe that it loves us and that it guides us and that it helps us and that it hears us and that it sees us and that it wants the best for us, then our communications and our meditations on this and our interactions with this begin to cycle through our life and manifestations as blessings and lessons, and a real palpable relationship that begins with this invisible force, which only intensifies and intensifies and intensifies throughout time as this force in you commune, as you pay attention to it as a part of yourself and as you a part of it. You begin to be taught by this force. You begin to realize your oneness with this force. You begin to transform. You begin to become that which you have set your mind upon, if it is your main focus, which you spend most of your time on. So you begin to leverage life. You begin to take back control and begin to control reality and manifestations through this relationship that you build with God. or your chosen God. Now, what is the name of God? This has to be talked about because a lot of people are tripped up about the name of God. Okay. You know, people say is this name, people say is that name, people say is this name, and people say is that name. Krishna said, whoever intensely and truly worships his or her God worships me, and I am the one who is receiving the worship. Now, when you understand the concept of Krishna, Krishna was the embodiment of a complete, total aspect of God, or even the whole God embodied. So Krishna represents this all-pervading aspect of all the concepts that God is supposed to be. And so, in other words, he's saying that whoever truly worships their God and believes in their God actually ends up worshiping the true God, no matter what name that they call it or what they've chosen. Now, how is that? That is because the true God, and I should have put this in my other video about fake and false gods, the true God is not really concerned that much with what you call him. Her, it, not really that concerned with what you call it. What really matters is the understanding that you have about what God is. How high on the rung of the absolute truth of God that belief actually is. Okay, because if you have the right understanding of what God is and where God is, then it doesn't really matter what you call God, because you're still talking to, you're still communing with, you're still in relationship with the true God, the prime creator, who is within you in all life. Now, how is that? It's like, one person can have so many names because different people in that person's life feel certain ways about them, know them in certain ways, are related to them in certain ways. One man can be called Dad, Papa, Rick, James, Jimmy, Bo, um, all kinds of things, depending on who's talking to them, nicknames, all kinds of different things. One person, different names, different people talking to them in different ways. But what's important is they know who they're talking to. In their mind, they have the idea of this exact person that they're thinking of. When I talk to my grandma, I don't call her by her name. I call her by the nickname that I called her since I was a kid. But I know who I'm talking to. When I say that name in my mind, she pops up because that is my understanding. I know who she is. So it doesn't matter if I called her a whole other name I don't ever really call her, but I'm thinking about her. That is how it is with God. So the name of God, I found the best name of God, really, two of the most powerful and best and highest names of God are God, number one, and number two, and not in any order, I am, and I am that I am. Now, why is that? Because these names or these titles or these representations of God represent and model exactly what God actually is. When you say God, you instantly bring up everything that has ever been thought about God, explained about God, that God is supposed to be, and everything that correlates with God. So as soon as you say God, you encompass the totality of the Godhead. God is a perfect word because God encompasses everything God possibly is and could be, and God is everything and nothing. So God is perfect because you say God, we all have an understanding. It's God, the creator. And then it goes so much deeper than that. It encompasses all possibilities of God. So God is perfect. God does it. God. I am. I am is another perfect representation of God, because I am is the expression of the God self in complete realization. I am is God, even the Son of God, the embodiment of God as the personification, a universal personification, stating a simple truth that I exist. I am. God is saying, I exist. And when it says I am that I am, God is saying, I am everything. I am whatever I choose to be. I am within all things. I cause what I want to be. It's a perfect statement of the unlimited, almighty potential of the true God presence. And so these are perfect names for God. Taking this into context, my higher self, my angelic, my God self, my God presence, my guide that spoke to me that I'm connected with, this Amen. Okay. Amen. And the concepts surrounding it are also another perfect name of God. You see, Amen embodies truth and the qualities of absolute truth and the qualities of the hidden truth and the hidden God, the unseen, the unknowable. In totality, God, the unseen and the hidden truth behind all reality, the ethers, the energy, the atoms, that which reality, physical reality, manifests from or has its birth from, the thought, the air, the energy, the ether, the invisible. Amen has also been equated with Aum, the word that manifests. Okay. And so, or the supreme vibration. Okay, so, and Amen has been represented also as a personified deity, a deity who embodied these aspects of the Godhead, just like Krishna and other beings have embodied aspects of, or the totality of, the Godhead. And so, when you put the nearest concept related to Amen, or going backwards to Amun, together with Re and or Ra, my chosen representation, my go-to for God, because that is who I've built a personal relationship, or this aspect of God that I've built a personal relationship with, and which is my higher presence and a portion of my being, then you get a really another beautiful, perfect understanding and pure concept of the creator, the true God. Because Ra represents the light which came forth from the darkness and spoke the I am. Re represents the personification of the light, which is the source of life and intelligence and all life. Re represents that physical and spiritual manifestation of the Godhead in the sun and all stars, and then also in all physical life, because Re and Ra is that which you can see. You may not see Amen, you may not see Amun, but you can see Re. He's in the sky, he's in the trees, he's in everything that exists. Everything that you can see is a part of Re. Most personified, highest personified in the sun, which is the representation of all physical things in their ability to transform and transmute into a higher spiritual form. Because when you ask yourself and look at what is the sun is a physical and spiritual being. It is a physical being which is wholly immersed in a spiritual form of living flame and heat and life. undulating life, the sun. And so the sun represents our highest manifestation in the physical, as the ability to transmute the physical qualities into higher spiritual forms and become living suns, immortal, eternal, all powerful. So that is what the sun represents. And all of these other manifestations are parts of the living God. Okay, so when you string it together, you have Amun Re, Amun Ra. And this is the unknowable and the knowable God, the hidden and the visible God, the hidden truth behind all that is manifested in reality. Again, you have the invisible and visible God. Together, it makes a perfect concept of the deity, of the God, the Godhead, the true God. Okay, and thus the same for those who have the correct understanding of Shiva and Krishna and Brahma, etc., etc., etc. Okay, when you have the understanding, the basis necessary for who and what God actually is, the name really ceases to matter so much. Because you're still talking to God, and the true God's still listening, and the true God is still with you. And in actuality, you are in communion and worship with the true God. And you begin to embody that yourself. This has been God Speaks, and this video is entitled, What is God? And what is God's name? Amen. Peace.